frantically trying to get in some more units right now, dropping some more Side Storms, but he is not able to take out all of that army just yet, and he does not have enough energy to drop another Side Storm, it looks like. So he is going to have to try to get an Archon here, but the last two Zealots he had being taken out, and he does have one Archon in the mix right now, trying to get up to this Terran army to do some damage, but with the slowing effect of those concussive shells, it just moves so slow. One Immortal popping out for just a brief second to say hi and try to do some work here, but unfortunately getting taken down very quickly. He manages to push back the rest of this Terran army with just some probes and an Archon, but still, there is just not a whole lot he can do at this point, it looks like, and WhiteRa is in a really bad position, although he does have expansion. Cloud is getting ready to drop 4 Marauders up here, so he is quickly going to be losing the space, it looks like. A lot of these SCVs, or I'm sorry, a lot of these probes going down very quickly. Oh, and he casts a feedback on that dropship, and it dies immediately because it did not have enough life to withstand the energy, or the life loss from the feedback that was just cast on it. And there's one probe out here holding a little box of gas, apparently not wanting to return to base. But it looks like WhiteRa is going to have to face off against more Terran units here, and unfortunately he is in a really bad position here. He does have some units to defend, but right now he is having to fight against 2 armies. There are 4 Marauders attacking his expansion, and a bunch of Marauders, and a bunch of Marines with 1 Marauder and 1 Ghost. And this Immortal is not doing anything. There we go. Finally getting into the mix there. Oh, and a great Side Storm from WhiteRa, doing a ton of damage. You can just see how many of these infantry units were just dominated by that Side Storm. But unfortunately, he does not have any more units right now, and he is going to be in really bad shape here because he just does not have anything to hold off the rest of these Terran units. So I think this game is going to go to Cloud. I don't know, maybe a little bit too early to call, but it seems like Cloud has just been slightly ahead of WhiteRa every attack. So WhiteRa still scrambling. He's got 1 Archon, 1 Immortal, and a High Templar and 2 Zealots. So we'll see if he's able to hold this off. I'm sorry, and another High Templar over here, but it does not have any energy. And somehow WhiteRa manages to rally to hold that off, although there is another dropship up on his expansion in the high ground once again, taking down some probes, and he's frantically trying to get those probes out of there. But he's already lost a handful, and with the small worker count that he already has, that is definitely not something that you want to see. If you take a look at the income now, you can see that WhiteRa is actually very far behind in the Harvester count. He is almost being doubled by Cloud right now, and Cloud coming in with another medevac and some more infantry behind it. And this may be the last final straw for WhiteRa here, because he just does not have the income to back up the production he needs to hold off these attacks for much longer, unless he gets some amazing Side Storms and good micro off here. I just think this may be the end of it for him. And 1 High Templar getting caught on the low ground goes down very quickly. He manages to hold off the attack up on the high ground here, but his High Templar tech is getting an absolute beating from these infantry. Oh, and 2 great Side Storms on this infantry army, once again proving how useful Side Storm is. He is really taking advantage of every tool at his disposal and managing to hold off this army one more time. The last remaining unit being the medevac, getting away with just 14 hit points, and somehow WhiteRa is just barely managing to hold on to this game. But it looks like there is 1 Hellion coming out from Cloud, just scouting across the map. And as you can see, the expansion for Cloud has been uninterrupted. He has just been able to gather minerals. He is putting up a base at the high yield base as well. So he is going to have a huge economic lead, although he already does have a pretty big economic lead, as you can see on the income tab here. The Harvester discrepancy between the 2 players, as well as about 600 to 700 minerals per StarCraft minute being the advantage towards Cloud right now. So WhiteRa just in really, really bad shape. So once again, he is managing to hold on, but I don't know how much longer he can keep this up, because Cloud has just been absolutely relentless in his pursuit to take WhiteRa out of this game. And there's a little bit of a lull here for WhiteRa, so he is trying to macro up some probes and get himself back in this game economically. I am going to take a quick pause here while nothing's going on so I can get some water so I don't cough all over this cast. Alright, sorry about that. We are back, and it looks like there is another army moving out from Cloud, and the dropship does have more units overhead here, 3 Marauders and 2 Marines, but there is an even larger Marine Marauder army moving in his front entrance right now, getting down 1 force field, 2 force fields, but not quite enough to stop the army. It just managed to slow him down a little bit, but this 1 medevac overhead does not have very much life. If he can get a good Side Storm over these infantry units in the medevac, he can actually take out a good amount of stuff here. but it looks like he is going to lose a lot of his units right now. And the great EMP, actually, you know what? He does not have any High Templars. His High Templar tech was just finished again, so it doesn't look like he has any right now. And trying to do some damage here with the last remaining units, but he only has 3 sentries right now, just losing his last zealot, and these sentries are not going to be enough to take on this 4 Immortals and that Ghost. Meanwhile, there are some more units from from Cloud just chilling up here. So I definitely think this is going to be the last straw for WhiteRa. I know I've been saying that for a while, but I don't know how he's been holding on, but he just has not been able to get himself back into this game, at least into a position where he can actually compete against Cloud. He has really just been playing defensively, barely holding on, and you can just see the great Marauder micro just really getting every last hit out of those Marauders as he can. WhiteRa managing, though, to get a decent amount of units. I mean, he is not fully saturating this expansion yet, but he does have a decent amount here, so he's got a little bit more income than he's had previously, which may be able to get him back into this game a little bit more. But once again, we can see on the left-hand side of the map here that Cloud is expanding. Oh, and some great Size Storms here from WhiteRa once again, and all these infantry... I'm sorry, all these infantry, as they're getting into the base, just getting softened up immediately. And some more great Size Storms from WhiteRa, just pounding on that infantry with all that High Templar tech. But still, I don't think it's going to be enough. You can just see across the map here, there are expansions going up all over the place for Cloud, and he already has such a large economic advantage, especially with that high yield base up and running now. He is just going to be up a creek without a paddle going up against this economic beast that Cloud is becoming on this map right now. And I really do expect WhiteRa to GG any second here. There's the GG. So it looks like WhiteRa winning this matchup against Cloud, and I believe this is actually part of a series. So I'm going to be casting all the games in the series for these replays between WhiteRa and Cloud. So anyways, I'm going to move on to the next game now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and GG.